Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Okay, so hmm, I have so much evidence, but it's crazy how so many MAGA Republican, racist bigots are basically snowflakes, or they're so sensitive, or their emotions got so hurt over that SNL skit the past weekend. And part of me is just like, your demographic. You know that is how a lot of you are depicted. And this episode I'm gonna list several, but I'm probably gonna forget about so many. But recently there was a young innocent girl who was bullied at her school because her parents are not, well, I don't know if they might not be legal. And so the kids were like, oh, you're gonna be alone and ICE is gonna come and get your parents. And and that right there just shows how terrible their parents are. That just shows how awful, degrading, bigoted, and racist the bully's parents are, because the kids heard it from their parents or family. And the fact that it's like I wrote my opinion on the matter on the video that you see, because I made sure to show the title and everything like that, because I'm like, hey, look it up, you'll see it, whatever. But then in my opinion, this no good, bigot, racist, vile, corrupt, poorly educated fool, he had the nerve to, that was his response. That was his response. Her body, her choice, was his response. And it's like, oh, okay. So they call it freedom of speech when they bully. You know? Have you noticed that? When they call Cubans a pile of garbage and everything like that, when they call like Africa an asshole country, when they call COVID kung flu, when they call Colin Kaepernick and a lot of the players that were standing up for Black Lives Matter out of their name, and then when you keep calling the black women unintelligent, dumb, and basically called Kamala, a lot of the people who were going up to the stage, oh, go back to your pimps, yeah, hinting that she is yeah, but what else? It's just, there are so many hints. Oh, that one Republican's husband that literally refused to shake Kamala's hand. It's like, you guys don't and I get some people don't listen to the news on a daily basis. A lot of them like to stay ignorant so that they can maintain their MAGA mind. But it's like, before you get so insulted, maybe look it up. And the fact that so many Proud Boys are with you guys are on the same side as literal hate groups and racists. So many people that are working in DC right now are saying that we should just need competent and decent and basic white men. You don't need people of color, you don't need women, you just need decent, basic white men. But then you guys get so offended with that small portion of the skit. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, bravo, yeah, because yes, that's how I see you. That's how I see majority of you. And a lot of you are like, but I'm not racist. You voted with racist. And a lot of you voted because you don't want DEI taught in the school. A lot of you guys think diversity ruins companies, or that black people take advantage or takes positions that belongs to you guys. There are so many examples, like I've said in so many other videos. So if you don't know, catch up and listen. But the time I got pulled over by a cop, followed me 15 minutes to my all the way to my house. I was all the way at I was on the expressway 15 minutes away from my house. He followed me that entire time. That entire time until I got into my driveway. Didn't turn on his lights until I opened my garage door and my car door. Then he, on his speaker, tells me get back. Like starts demanding for me to get back in the car. I'm so embarrassed. I mean, it's the middle of the night, like 1 or 2 a.m. because I was working promos back in those days. But then his excuse, I don't look like I live there. That's what he said. And back then I didn't know to record it. But yeah, he literally said, I did not look like I lived at that house. And then one of the other times when the police officer fondled me. Yeah, and the reason why he pulled me over was because of my college graduation tassel on my mirror. And it's crazy because a lot of a lot of white people don't understand their privilege. I'll repeat that. A lot of white people don't understand their privilege because I still get nervous when I get into vehicles, and not so much with white people. I still do because part of me is thinking the police officer, if they do pull us over, they're going to find a reason, especially with me being in the car or whatever. But I've been in cars and I'm like, oh, can we take this off your mirror? Why do we need to take it off the mirror? Okay, I've been pulled over. Oh, you're so sensitive. And it's oh, you're probably doing something else. No. It's no, wasn't speeding. And we were the only vehicle on the road. And no, we weren't doing anything else. And oh, well, it's it was probably I remember my ex's mom. It was probably just because you were so beautiful. He fondled me. Oh, well, maybe he just, and I just remember she was just saying so much garbage. But basically, she was just saying, well, he's a cop. He was just doing what he wanted to do. But it's just crazy with, because even when I got the adjunct professor job, you only got that job because you're black. Since I finished college and I now have 3 degrees and 3 certifications, you only got into school because you're black. You're only able to finish that because you're black, because her Caucasian, white, European American son dropped out of college and then dating Mr. Snodgrass. His grandfather said, you met an amazing black woman, but why can't you find just a decent, basically he just wanted his grandson to find a basic white woman. And if you guys just want basic, just okay, it's I want to work for a company. I want a man who would want an amazing black woman. And I have a disability, and a lot of men can't deal with it because they don't want to be seen with, because they'll be embarrassed. Or a lot of the Christian men will say that I didn't pray hard. Oh, the things the Christian men have said. Because I've literally had one where he was like, well, if you don't start walking better within 3 to 6 months, I'm going to have to break it off with you, because if you're not going to be determined enough, if you're not going to read the Bible enough, because once you read the Bible enough, that's going to make you walk right. And it's because you don't believe. But then when I told him I never want to see him again, a couple weeks later, because it's I stopped, he wanted to go on another date. I was like, no, I'm good. I'm busy. He didn't like that. And then the next week, that's when I was just like, yeah, I'm good. Oh, ho, ho. He forgot he was a Christian during that phone call. Oh, he forgot he was a Christian during that phone call. And the things is like his mom even called, like oh my gosh, his mom called me too. And oh yeah, and part of me was just, oh yeah, because since I'm lighter complexion, my son is looking for a woman with your complexion because he wants beautiful babies. So he, it's like you had a chance and now you messed it up. It's like if you want beautiful kids with him, you better apologize and you better pray, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, this is coming from like, and it's crazy how many pastors' sons like either pastors or pastor's son I ended up dating, but then I realized I was only dating them because I was trying to meet up to my parents' expectations, but at the same time I could not stand them because of their misogyny and their expectations and the belittling and like one moment they were Christian, but then once they wanted to have something their way. They didn't care, especially if they could go against the Bible. They did not care. And yes, it's a different subject, but at the same time, it goes also with, like, 'cause a lot of Christians are Republicans, a lot of Christians vote for, vote with MAGA. So it all comes together because it's crazy how you have the MAGA with the religious, with the hate groups, and it's like it's a mixture of them, and then some outliers, but like that's majority of them though. But it's like so when when I saw that response, like your body, your choice, that was such. I mean, that just showed like if he is a parent, we all know, like we know how his children are going to be. They're going to be the type of bullies that encourage children to do this, and they're probably going to be the ones that call ICE and assist. It's like on his resume he's probably going to put ICE assistant on his resume. Yeah. I don't, it's just really degrading and awful because there is so much racism in this country, and then there's haters in the church too, and all especially applying for jobs, going to job interviews, they keep saying, oh well, they shouldn't just hire you because you're black. And I've already said so many times, like there are so many job interviews where they said that I was the most qualified, and over the phone, because this is before they saw me, and there were a lot of jobs where I applied twice because I got tired of not getting calls, and I shortened my name, and my shortened name version, because I realized they probably feel like, oh, she must not be white with my full name. But with my shortened name, they thought that I was probably going to be white. So then that version got the calls. But then they would see me and they're like, oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, you're overqualified. You don't want this. Yeah, a lot of them, you don't want this job. Yeah, you need to apply for something better. It was to a point where I had to start applying for Taco Bell and McDonald's, and like both laughed at me. I remember he was an old white man who interviewed me with Taco Bell, and it's like he was insulting me the entire time. You're not even good enough for this position. You're not qualified. Why did you apply for this? Okay, then why did you call to give me a tour of the facility? Like, why did you? This is the third time you've called me. Why, like, you called me the first time and I said that I have not worked in the food industry, but it's like I I said, like, I forgot which position it was even for, but I was like, I'm open-minded and I'm trainable, I work hard and things like that. So if you keep calling me, it's like, why waste your time? Why waste my time? Because I started to think he was just bored or he needed some extra money. So maybe you needed the overtime. Because each time you call me, you tell me basically I'm wasting your time, but you called me. You scheduled like, and the McDonald's was a nightmare because with my degrees and everything, I didn't have all three, but I know I had my bachelor's, and I think I was either almost done with my first master's or I was done. No, I don't think I was done. But anyways, even with my bachelor's, she was like, she called me in just because she wanted to laugh at me. I can't believe someone with a degree. Oh, I couldn't believe. Oh, and it's like, you talk so proper. Yeah, I just called you because I want to see you for myself. I think this is funny. I think this is ridiculous. But then people kept saying, then why did you have to keep applying for work? Because once people saw how I walk, once people saw that I was black. So when I see this young, innocent girl eliminate herself because of the trauma, because of her mental health, because she was scared, because she was in fear. But then we've got people with comments like her body, her choice. Why do you think SNL created that skit? So many people are so closed minded, they only think of it as a handshake. Sometimes comedy is symbolic. Just like writing, like comedy is creative writing, but it's creative writing to get you to laugh. And since I write creative writing, it's like, I mean, comedy is also kind of like poetry, laughter, poetry. There is symbolism in it. And so it wasn't just a handshake. It wasn't. You guys don't welcome us in. You guys don't welcome people that don't look like you and sound like you in. It's like you use your religion, you use your like posse to use as hate to exclude us. And you use your bullying as your free speech. And you use your bullying as free speech, but then turn it around and say, well, I'm just basing it off the Bible. I'm just doing what God says. I'm just doing the Lord's work. While you're ruining people's lives, but you're saying, that's what God wants me to do. Yeah. Or you're saying, that's what the Klan wants me to do. Yeah. It's like you guys claim to be making America, but like, you're making it a horror movie for some of us. It's like a lot of you would never want to shake my hand, and like that are in that demographic, of course. And I have no problem with that. I never want to shake the hand of hatred. I never want to shake the hand of bigotry. I never want to shake the hand of people applauding ICE tearing apart families. It's like sometimes I want to ask the Statue of Liberty, like, should we just change the poem, the words that are on you? Because by definition, like, this isn't your definition anymore. This is not what you stand for anymore. This is not the America that is that is present day anymore. The Constitution, no. It's like he's literally changing it, but like first, and it's like that's another reason. Because for years, he's standing by the Constitution. He's never going to change it. He's fighting for this. He wants a Constitution. We're doing this, and now he's changing it. And none of you guys are saying a word. None of you guys are saying a word. You're okay with it now because like he has so much power. You love it. But I'm just at a point where this poor little girl is like from her classmates, she should have been getting empathy and sympathy, compassion. But instead she was surrounded by bullies, surrounded by hate. And like another thing that our country is doing, they want to eliminate everything that has black, like the African American graduations and ceremonies and events. But one reason why we have those is that certain European American people don't allow us to be safe out there. So sometimes we do like, and then people are hating on the end, like the NAACP awards. Why don't we have white awards? Because you guys used to always get all of the awards. That's how, like, just like the colleges, we used to not be able to go to colleges or universities. It was whites only. Same thing with the awards. That's how the NAACP awards were created. So I get tired of the poorly educated, the ignorant. And then we have poorly educated, ignorant, vile, bigoted people talking to their children. And then those children are talking to poor, innocent people who are scared or in fear. And they have no, like, so don't tell me that you are offended by an SNL skit. Don't tell me that it's like your snowflake, no good, conniving, poorly educated emotions were hurt. I don't care. It was, that was symbolic and it was accurate. And I normally have so much empathy for people, but then with a lot of the things going on lately, and then a poor little girl, like, but then people keep saying, oh, we're not racist, we're fixing the country. Oh, yeah, well, we don't need DEI. You don't, you're proving your privilege more and more when now the country is saying they want decent, basic, white men. It's like you accuse us or accuse me of being woke, but then you won't wake up in time to see what is actually going on in this country. You won't wake up in time to see how, if you are not white and male and straight, they don't care anything about you. They will degrade you. They will make sure they take away your right to vote. Did you hear about how they're changing some of the voting laws? Yeah. If it passes, all the married women might have to go back and change their name to their birth certificate. Yeah. So I'm going to have a full episode about this young girl, but it's like a lot of people, especially over the past week, it's like, or the MAGAs, they're so insulted. So I just had to, give some examples. And especially I woke up and saw this one today. And that, they get so sensitive. They have the nerve to write things like this, but then they're so sensitive. They don't have a right to be sensitive. All of the hate and bigotry and just despicable, awful things they have the nerve to say. But then when they do it, it's freedom of speech. When they are awful and conniving, it's freedom of speech. Okay, anyway. This is the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human and you're human too. And she was a human being. She was innocent. She was innocent. And she was scared. And so if you agree with that person, don't watch any more of my videos. No, you're not part of my demographic if you agree with what this guy said. So, and I would be so happy if you escort yourself out, because you're not part of my posse. You're not part of my crew. If you even slightly agree with what no, no,